Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm Mike Schroeder. I'm joined by Connor Printz. So, if you don't know a little bit about Connor, plays basketball at Claremont McKenna, and currently now, the big reason I got him on the show is he's one of the leading voices of D3 in the NIL space. He has over 100 deals and over combined with his social media platforms, over 1 million followers on Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, all these different things. So, real excited to have Connor on to kind of talk a little bit about the content creation and within the NIL space. So, first of all, Connor, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Definitely. No, I really appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. So let's get started with just the idea of why NIL, what got you into space, just kind of talk about that whole journey, because you started out obviously playing basketball at Deerfield Academy, and then you went to Claremont McKenna. But what got you involved in the NIL space and why'd you want to take advantage of that?
Yeah. So about 2 years ago, NIL probably passed a little over 2 years ago. And right when it did, I was just thinking, you know what, it's going to be for the big time guys at Duke or the quarterback at Alabama. They're going to get paid and make all this money as they deserve to be. But I really didn't think, as a Division III guy, I would be able to make money. But once I started to learn more about NIL and realize, I could possibly get some free product or make a little money here, I decided to take advantage of it and started reaching out to a lot of different companies. And at first, I was just getting some free snacks, a free case of chocolate milk here or there, something like that, and thought it was the coolest thing ever. And then I eventually got a deal with Snapchat actually through Open Doors, which was, I guess, my first official paid NIL deal. And they were looking for college athletes to hop on the platform and didn't have any followers at the time, didn't create any content, but they just wanted new athletes to be on the platform. And that was my first paid NIL deal. And ever since then, I've been creating content and doing NIL deals. And so, yeah, about 2 years ago, it all started, and it's been a crazy journey so far.
So talk a little bit about just kind of the emotions that went through, being asked to, deal with the NIL stuff with Snapchat. I mean, that had to be obviously incredibly not just humbling, but incredible amount of excitement that you had to feel just being saying, hey, I get a chance to promote, because I know you do a lot of basketball related content out there. So, talk a little bit about just kind of the excitement slash what kind of content do you post out, just for those who maybe aren't familiar with what you do.
Yeah, it was very cool. I mean, because I always wanted to create content, but didn't know how to get started. Was a little hesitant just because, I didn't know if I'd be able to grow that much or make money off of it. And when I got the Snapchat deal, I was amazed because first, like I said, didn't think I was going to get it because I didn't have any followers at the time. And Snapchat's just such a huge company that I've used for years now, just being able to communicate with my friends. And so it was amazing to get that deal. And yeah, ever since then, I've just been posting all things basketball. You'll go to my page, you'll see relatable comedy skits. You'll see different training videos. You'll see advice videos about recruiting. I'm going to start posting NIL tips very, very soon. I want to be able to help the next generation of college athletes get NIL deals. And so just a little bit of everything basketball is what I post.
So as a Division III athlete, look, I played at Amherst College, and I know some guys who went down the NIL path. And just talk a little bit about just kind of maybe the challenges of a Division III athlete entering that space, because again, you're not at a Duke, you're not at an Alabama, you're not at like these big name schools, but you've made a great name for yourself. What went into that? What were the challenges, and how can you inspire a future Division III athlete looking to get in the NIL space?
Right. Yeah, I think in the beginning it was definitely a little hard for sure, especially when I didn't have many followers, just because brands they always just see the guys on Duke on TV, and so they're automatically drawn to them. But recently, brands have started to realize that they want to start looking for athlete creators. Now they can go to these high major Division I schools, pay these players, but a lot of these players have no experience with content creation. And so when they send them the video back of the ad, they realize this is not good at all. This guy's never filmed a video before. But then they see a guy like myself who has gained a following, has created videos for over 2 years now. They see the videos do better. And so while there was a little bit of a roadblock at first, just realizing, I may not have as many followers as these guys, or I'm not on a national platform. When I started diving into creating content and learning how to edit videos and film videos correctly, and then I started gaining followers from that, brands really, really started to love that. And so if you really want to get into the NIL space as a Division III guy, highly recommend you create content because it's changed my life, and it can change yours too, for sure.
And in ways that changed your life. So for those who maybe don't follow on LinkedIn, you were just at the All-Star game and the All-Star weekend. So first of all, that must have been an incredible experience. So congratulations to you on that. That must have
Thank
been
you.
really cool. But just talk about, like, again, like you're meeting guys like Kevin Durant, right? You're meeting some of the guys that you probably grew up idolizing, and now you're in the same room with them. Talk a little about just kind of like the work you put in, and also just kind of maybe the off factor of it paying off in a way where you get to meet your idols.
Yeah, I mean, this weekend was crazy. I went to so many different events. The one main event was I went to Kevin Durant and his company Boardroom hosted a brunch they have every year, and I walk in and it's Kevin Durant's there, Udonis Haslem, Sabrina Ionescu, Gail King, all the Dak Prescott, and I mean just all these big time celebrities, and like many more of them were there. And I'm just a 23-year-old senior in college, and just crazy. I'm just chilling there, sitting in the corner, looking at these guys, and I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm in the same room as them. So it's been crazy. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to sign with a really good agency called Snapback Agency, run by Alex Scheinman, who's my agent right now, and he's been amazing. He's helped me get into a lot of these events, and so it's just crazy. Even 2 years ago, I wouldn't believe that I'd be in a room like that, or just I work with Puma and Converse this weekend, two of the biggest shoe brands in the world, and so it's just been crazy to me so far. But I've really worked hard. I've made a lot of good connections, which is probably the most important thing. It's all about who you know and who knows you, and so. Been a crazy 2 years, and this weekend was just unbelievable for sure. Yeah.
Talk about what goes into making good content. People say, okay, I'm a content creator, but in order to be effective at it, you got to really make stuff that resonates with the viewers, resonates with fans, and also is able to promote your brand out in an effective way. So, in your opinion, what goes into making good content and what has allowed you to have success in that space?
Yeah, for sure. I try to first just navigate my audience. Who's my target audience? Right now, it's kids ages 13 to 17, and then that 18 to 24-year-old range are my main two audiences. And so I have to tailor to them. What are they going to enjoy watching? So I try to think back to when I was a kid in high school, early college. What kind of content did I enjoy? I want to also make it authentic. I want to show people that just because I have some followers, I'm not this famous guy or whatever. I'm a normal dude at the end of the day. And so I want to show people like I'm a real person, I'm a normal guy, and they definitely relate to me more. And then also really just communicating with my audience is very, very important. Making sure on Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, I'm responding to people's DMs, their messages. I try to respond to comments, and people truly care about that. And so me creating a genuine connection with my followers while creating content that they enjoy watching and that we can all relate to is really where I've seen my success so far.
So, in terms of maybe why you chose the basketball platform, as because some guys, might just create content like talking about. I know you're saying you're going to do it with just NIL. Like I've involved to people who are just like, all right, here's what I've done to be successful in the NIL industry. You've taken a step back and saying, hey, look, I play basketball. I want to help inspire people to do well in that sport. For you, why did you choose that? Was it because you play the sport and that was just the avenue that you knew best, or did you really say, based on your target audience, as you just mentioned, this is what they want to hear and this is what they want to get to? So, talk a little about why you created those, comedy skits and all the basketball advice videos that you've done, and why you think that's worked out well for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think of course right away is just because I've been a basketball guy my whole life. It's kind of my main identity has been who I am. I played basketball almost every single day, and so it's what I know best. But also, I really just want to help the next generation. I want to one entertain them, of course. Have them go to my page, be able to enjoy the videos, laugh a little bit. But also, you look at trainers nowadays. Trainers are so expensive. Charging over $100 for a 1 hour session. A lot of kids just can't afford that, and so I want to be able to be a resource to the next generation where they can come to my page, watch videos, learn from me. And, while I may not be the best trainer in the world, or I may not take them to the NBA, just even if I could give a kid one little tip that's going to help them out in their game, that's like an amazing thing to me. And so when I get a little message with the kid saying, that I've helped them get better, or, I'm like their idol or something, that's kind of what I really wanted to get out of this. It's been super, super cool just seeing how I'm really able to inspire all these kids. It's awesome.
Absolutely. And I guess just for you, who are some mentors maybe that you've, maybe learned stuff from throughout your time? I know NIL's new, but maybe just like in terms of saying like, betting on yourself kind of a standpoint and maybe having some business acumen, because you have to be able to do that to be effective at NIL.
For sure.
Were
Yeah.
there some people growing up that gave you that kind of like mentor advice, or maybe just people you learned from just like kind of watching them promote content or do stuff within the business realm?
Yeah, I mean, of course, my dad, number one. He's been a grinder since he was a little kid. I mean, just he works so hard up into the restaurant industry, and he's a super successful guy who's just very, very hardworking. And so I've learned a lot from him. Of course, my agent right now, Alex Scheinman. I've only been with him in 2 months, and it's not focused more on the NIL side, but more of like building my personal brand. And he's been amazing with that, just introducing me to a lot of different people. Um, and then there was one guy just taught me things that I may not know behind the scenes, because he's really involved in NIL and the business side. And so he's one guy that's been truly amazing with the NIL space for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess something I just pulled up when I was kind of looking up your LinkedIn is you have a quote here that I really think resonates well, I think, with people in the NIL space, where it said, that you've talked to people who know nothing about the NIL space, and if they're at these colleges, and you put down this needs to change. And I think that resonates with a lot of college athletes, so that NIL is really taking over, and people still are really confused maybe and don't understand this space. For you, how vital is NIL education for not just you to promote your content, but to be able to really make things easier and seamless for the future generation of athletes who are going to be embarking in this space and want to be able to become content creators and be able to make money in this space?
Right. Yeah, it's very, very important. I mean, recently I spoke on a panel to about 100 different JUCO colleges here in California to introduce them to NIL and show them why it's important. And a lot of them had the same mentality as me coming in. It's only for the Alabama quarterback to make some money. Um, Dude, it can change your life no matter what level you're at. Of course, you're not just gonna come in, write Nike, and get a deal right away. There's hard work, but these kids who may not have a lot of money or just looking for some extra money to get some food on the weekend or take their girlfriend on her date, something like that. If you get involved within NIL, start creating content, you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to meet so many different people in this world that you normally would not meet. You learn so many different things, such as contract negotiations, taxes. The biggest thing for me is just networking. Like I said, I mean, I've met so many people. It doesn't matter the level you're at. Of course, a guy at the highest Division I level, the stars, you go to the NFL, sure, he's probably going to make more money, get some bigger NIL deals. I mean, he deserves it. But just because you're at a D3 guy, NIAA, JUCO, doesn't mean you can't get these deals. And so all these kind of schools, all these athletic directors definitely need to start educating their players because it can really change their lives.
So my final question is, what's next? What's the future look like for you? Because I think that's an important thing too, because you've done so many good things in the present and in the past. What does the future look like? What are you trying to build upon as you continue your content creation and NIL journey, not just from college, but even after?
Yeah, yeah. Really quick, I just remember the guy's name. Sorry, when I mentioned earlier. But for the next journey for me, so I graduate in May. Trying to figure it all out right now. I really enjoy the whole social media space. My goal within over the last 2 years was, I want to be a graduate assistant, then work my way as a college basketball coach. I've recently realized that's not the path for me, not my passion anymore, and so I definitely want to stay within the content creation world. Whether that's doing it full time by myself, whether that's working for a sports social media company, also just trying to figure all that out. And then in the future, I can definitely see myself opening my own company, whether that's, NIL education, an agency that also helps with recruiting as well. So definitely something in the sports world. I got a couple more months to figure it out, but I don't, I got a lot of time ahead of me, but definitely want to figure something out in the next month or two before I graduate. But right now, it definitely seems like the sports social media world is my next step for sure.
Absolutely. And Connor, I want to say thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. This is really cool and really great experience. So thank you and best of luck to you going forward.
Yes, sir. No, thank you so much.